Hello, in today's A Course in Miracles reading we have Chapter 6, The Lessons of Love, Section 5, The Lessons of the Holy Spirit, and Part A, To Have, Give All to All. So this is where the walls of the ego really get seen through. Okay, so paragraph 1. When your body and your ego and your dreams are gone, you will know that you will last forever. Perhaps you think this is accomplished through death, but nothing is accomplished through death, because death is nothing. Everything is accomplished through life, and life is of the mind and in the mind. The body neither lives nor dies, because it cannot contain you who are life. If we share the same mind, you can overcome death because I did. That would be Jesus. I did. Death is an attempt to resolve conflict by not deciding at all. Like any other impossible solution the ego attempts, it will not work. So the body neither lives nor dies because it cannot contain you who are life. The body cannot contain you. The body is not real. But Spirit uses our perception of what is not real, all the separate components we seem to see and experience. And the body is one of those. And the bodies we see as other are many of those. And so Spirit uses our perceptions, which are false perceptions, as communication devices and learning devices. And Spirit can use our false perceptions to point toward the truth. Spirit can so transform and purify our perceptions. So everything we see is a signpost, pointing back home, pointing to the truth, pointing toward what actually is here. The body neither lives nor dies because it cannot contain you who are life. So whenever I'm in any distress, I'm thinking of a body story or a separate component story. And I'm thinking of a good one or a bad one. A good or bad story about a body or some separate component. And that's ego's distraction. Ego delivers these positive and negative stories to me about bodies and separate components being especially this and especially that, but the memory of God is right here for all of us. And the lesson I'm focusing on today, let's see if I can remember it. Miracles are reflections of God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and with His memory to save the world, or something like that. Something close to that. So the one thing we can do is to turn back toward the reality of God, face there, rest there in stillness. I need do nothing there. The one thing we can do is there, and that takes all the attention off the body. And then from that place, we are inspired to play our role in this play where we seem to be bodies with other bodies, and to play our role through this play, which is a healing play, which ends in the completion of our full return, our full awareness to return to the full awareness of our unity. So in the meantime, the body is a communication device, a learning device. It neither lives nor dies. It's a false projection, because it cannot contain you who are life. So your life, very simple. Okay, paragraph 2. God did not make the body because it is destructible, and therefore not of the kingdom. The body is the symbol of what you think you are. It is clearly a separation device, and therefore does not exist. The Holy Spirit, as always, takes what you have made and translates it into a learning device. So you're fantasizing about things that aren't real? No problem, Holy Spirit says. That's okay. We will just use this as a learning device. Again, as always, He reinterprets what the ego uses as an argument for separation into a demonstration against it. So the body in the Holy Spirit's hands is a demonstration against the separation. showing you reality versus nothingness. If the mind can heal the body, but the body cannot heal the mind, then the mind must be stronger than the body. Every miracle demonstrates this. The Holy Spirit, as always, takes what you have made and translates it into a learning device. Every time I feel freaked out about anything, I think what I have made is real. But if I can remember that Holy Spirit can take each and everything that I've made, not just the body I perceive as mine, but every single thing I perceive that looks separate, and use it as part of my learning, then I'm so safe. If I put everything in Holy Spirit's hands, everything is so safe. We don't have to worry about anyone. I was going to say anybody, and at the last second I heard anyone. The Holy Spirit, as always, takes what you have made and translates it into a learning device. Whenever I'm distressed about anything, I'm judging what I have made, this illusion that I have made. But where's Holy Spirit? Here. And what can Holy Spirit do? Take the illusion and use it to benefit everybody. It doesn't matter what the illusion is. The ego's the one who gives me especially positive and especially negative commentary about the positive or negative value about the illusion. Ego just takes what I have made and uses it to benefit everyone, and that doesn't involve any ego judgment. So we're free. We're free in this space where we just give what we have made to Spirit. Okay, paragraph 3. I have said that the Holy Spirit is the motivation for miracles. He always tells you that only the mind is real, because only the mind can be shared. The body is separate and therefore cannot be part of you. To be of one mind is meaningful, but to be one body is meaningless. By the laws of mind, then, the body is meaningless. So he always tells you, Holy Spirit, that only the mind is real, because only the mind that can be shared. And whenever I go in for healing, I go into the mind place. The focus gets taken off the body, off any evaluations of the body, off any attempt to fix anything about the body, and we go into the mind and we rest there, and we receive what's here for us in the mind in communion. So what's every moment? It's communion. The body's a communication device. He always tells you that only the mind is real, because only the mind can be shared. So the only thing that's real is shared and harmless and powerful. And whenever I'm freaking out about anything, I can remember the only thing that is real is shared and powerful and benign and harmless. That's the reality. The Holy Spirit doesn't say, don't do this. The Holy Spirit says, do only this. And it's focus on what is here. And we have to give our ego thoughts to Spirit, set them down, bring them to the light, because the light shines them away. They're not present in the light. If I bring my ego thought to the light and set it down, there's nothing there in the light, because my ego thought is darkness, and darkness isn't present where there's light. Okay. To the Holy Spirit, this is paragraph 4, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. This is familiar enough to you by now, but it has not yet become believable. Therefore, you do not understand it and cannot use it. We have too much to accomplish on behalf of the kingdom to let this crucial concept slip away. It is a real foundation stone of the thought system I teach and want you to teach, that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. Yeah, that's going to become believable. We're on the road to that. You cannot perform miracles without believing it, because it is a belief in perfect equality. Only one equal gift can be offered to the equal sons of God, and that is full appreciation. Nothing more and nothing less. Without a range, order of difficulty is meaningless, and there must be no range in what you offer to your brother. So when we go to this very powerful inward place that's really the only thing that is real, there's such power here, just extending forever. And it doesn't exclude anybody. So whenever ego distracts me away with a commentary about one component of what I'm seeing here, that is so far from this inward place that's so powerful and so loving and extends forever and excludes no one. So it's like getting to know a friend. The more we get to know this inner space and its power and its kindness and its beauty, the less we listen to any commentary the ego is delivering to us about some separate component of the outer world we're projecting. Only one equal gift can be offered to the equal sons of God, and that is full appreciation. Well, when I'm upset, I'm not seeing the sons of God as equal. I'm seeing some as especially unfortunate and some as especially fortunate, or some other set of opposites. I'm putting them under the control or the influence of imagined opposites that I then see playing out in this play here that's going on before my eyes. Only one equal gift can be offered to the equal sons of God, and that is full appreciation. So full appreciation is what is always extended from God to every child of God, and there's just one child of God, and back from the child of God to God. That's just what's shared forever, is full appreciation with no interruption, no defect. And this inner space is always available to us. So when I say, let me know my brother as I know myself, I can go to this inner space where there's no interruption from any especially positive or negative thought from ego, and I can be in that full appreciation space. It's not appreciation for any particular thing from this world. It's appreciation for what we are and what's here to essentially rescue us from our delusions. Thank goodness. Okay, paragraph 5. The Holy Spirit who leads to God translates communication into being, just as he never takes anything back because he wants you to keep it. Therefore, his teaching begins with a lesson to have, give all to all. The Holy Spirit sees the body only as a means of communication, and because communicating is sharing, it becomes communion. So what's available to us in any moment? Communion. And as we learn to listen for the thoughts of the Holy Spirit and allow Spirit to use our speaking voice, to speak the thoughts of Spirit, we learn to go quiet when we're hearing thoughts of ego, and go get straightened out. We start to notice that this communication might not look so traditional as we think, meaning speaking. Just when we go into the mind and focus the mind, that's communion, that's communication. Mind to mind, we all share the same mind, and we're all in the purest, most loving communication in our mind. We're all together in the mind, and more that's what we can see. Now, as we perceive the body acts, the body speaks, that the symbol of the body gets used too. But it's interesting to see how we can go into mind and rest in communion and communicate purely in the mind. It's hard to put it into words, but we're together in mind, and we can rest in that togetherness. In fact, we always do. The right part of our mind is always resting here in that togetherness in our mind, and we can go to that place at any time and be here. We're all at peace with each other. The Holy Spirit sees the body only as a means of communication, and because communicating is sharing, it becomes communion. So I think whenever we don't feel good, we're trying to use the body in another way. And that's not sinful or wrong. It's just confusion because we're kind of walking back into the darkness when we're afraid and thinking that's going to give us something that we want. When we go into the shared mind, when we go into the right mind, when we're in the presence of this light, there's no fear, there's nothing wrong, there's no threat. So we get to know this place, we get to trust it, we start to want to stay here and not wander off. Okay, paragraph 6. This is a very preliminary step, and the only one you must take for yourself. It is not even necessary that you complete the step yourself, but it is necessary that you turn in that direction. Having chosen to go that way, you place yourself in charge of the journey, where you and only you must remain. This step may appear to exacerbate conflict rather than resolve it, because it is the beginning step in reversing your perception and turning it right side up. This conflicts with the upside down perception you have not yet abandoned, or the change in direction would not have been necessary. Some remain at this step for a long time, experiencing very acute conflict. At this point, they may try to accept the conflict rather than take the next step toward its resolution. Having taken the first step, however, they will be helped. Once they have chosen what they cannot complete alone, they are no longer alone. Okay, having chosen to go that way, in the direction of to have, give all to all. Let's see. You place yourself in charge of the journey where you and only you must remain. So we must take responsibility for our thoughts, for our feelings, for our experiences. And if we try to give responsibility to anything else that seems like else in this world, we're denying ourselves the rest we can find in the place where we're joined. So having chosen to go that way in the direction of to have, give all to all, you place yourself in charge of the journey where you and only you must remain. So it says elsewhere in the Course that the ego can be trained. And that's kind of what this is. It's not like, as long as we experience time and space, it's not like you win over the ego, which is nothingness, or you make the ego disappear, which is nothingness. It's more like you take what you admit you're still perceiving, but you let it be trained to be used on behalf of awakening. So then you, as you see yourself, are in charge of the journey, because you're in charge of the thoughts you believe, you're in charge of the feelings you experience, and you gain more and more understanding of this as you go along. And whenever ego is sending you thoughts that blame or give responsibility to some separate component of this fantasy you're viewing and experiencing, you give it responsibility for your experience, your perceptions, your thoughts, your feelings. Then we've turned away from to have, give all to all. Everything's in our unity. So all the love I have, you have. All the power I have, you have. Why? Because we're one, and it's benign power. And if we want to remember that the only power is this harmless, loving, benign power, we have to give it to everyone without reservation. So on our way home, we keep bumping into our reservation, to our reluctance to give that power to all and to ourselves. And then Spirit undoes that for us. Okay, I think that is it. All right, thank you, and happy healing.